Okay, so let me have the recording for trigonometry first. So just what I mentioning a while ago. So for right triangle, so we just need to define the adjacent side, the opposite side, and the hypotenuse. The longest side is the hypotenuse. Adjacent is the one closer to the angle, and then the opposite side is the side opposite the given angle. So the six trigo functions are the SOHCAHTOA. So sine, cosine, and tangent. And then of course the opposite, we have the cosecant, secant, and cotangent. So for the law of sines, so we can use the law of sines if the two pairs of sides and its opposite angle are given. Let's say the side or the side A, so together with the opposite angle alpha are given, then we can use the law of sines. So similarly, the same as true with the side B and the angle beta. Then we have the side C as well as the angle gamma, so which we'll be using later on. And then we have the the solutions of trigo equations. So we have to remember our axes. Okay, so that would be A, C, T, A, C, T, and then S. So that makes it ax. So we're in for A. So everything is positive, or the three trigo functions are all positive at the first quadrant. Sa second quadrant, we only have the sine, and then the rest to be negative. Tangent, we have at the third quadrant, and then cosine at the fourth quadrant. So let's have some examples here. So the total internal angle, so for a triangle, is greater than or equal to 180 degrees. So the answer there is false. Okay, so it is false. It's because the total internal angle, so if we have angle A plus angle B plus angle C, all in all, that is exactly equal to 180 degrees. So that would be false. The sum of the length of the two sides of a right triangle is always greater than the length of its hypotenuse. So it says here that the sum of the length of the two sides. So let's say the length of the two sides is A and B. So which is the adjacent side and the opposite side. So sabi niya daw, is always greater than the length of its hypotenuse. It's always greater than C. And that is true. Okay? So pag pinag-add mo yung the adjacent as well as the opposite sides, it's always greater than the hypotenuse. So remember, in a right triangle, we have the 3, 4, 5 triangle. So 3 and 4 are the sides, the adjacent and the opposite. So which is 7, and then the hypotenuse is 5. So 7 is greater than 5. So we also have the 5, 12, 13 triangle. So remember that we have the two sides 5 and 12, so which is 17, and that is greater than 13. So always the two sides, or the sum of the two sides, is always greater than the hypotenuse. So for question number 3, so for a given oblique triangle, so law of sines, oblique triangle. So law of sines can be used to find the opposite side of an included angle. So provided the two sides and included angle are given. So sabi niya daw, so kung meron kang oblique triangle, law of sines can be used. Okay, so this one. So the law of sines can be used to find the opposite side of an included angle. So let's say the included angle is C. So ang hinahanap natin is this one. So given that opposite side of an included angle, provided that the two sides and the included angle are given. Ano yung two sides? This one. So A and B are given, and then the included sign or the included angle is given. Hanapin daw natin yung C. So can we get that one using law of sines? So remember, law of sines can be used if the opposite sides or the opposite angle are given. In this case, side A is given, but angle A is not. So the same as true with side B is given, but the angle B is not given as well. And in this case, the included angle C is not given, or it is given, however, of course, that's the one that we are finding is the side C. So, in short, we cannot use the law of sines. So, para makuha natin yan, we need the law of cosines. So, that makes the statements false. Number 4, the tangent function is negative on the first and third quadrant. So, remember, yung sa ax, so A, C, T, S. So, saan positive ang tangent? Positive siya sa first quadrant at saka sa third quadrant. So, sabi dito, the tangent function is negative on first and third quadrant. No. Okay? So, positive siya sa first at saka sa third. So, negative siya sa second at saka sa fourth. So, this one is false. The tangent function is negative on first and third quadrant. Mali siya. Tangent function is positive on first and third quadrant. Tangent 90 degrees is undefined. So, tangent 90 degrees. Actually, this one is a special triangle. No? So, remember sa triangle, so, diba, if this is a right triangle, so this is 90 degrees. So, let's say I'm expecting that this is 90 degrees. So, kung 90 ito, 90 din yun. Therefore, yung kanina, di ba? A plus B plus C is equals to 180. So, if A is 90, B is 90, so therefore, C so would be equal to 0 degree. So, this is actually 0. So, ngayon, so since 0 degree yan, actually, anong distance nito? This is actually 0 as well. Yeah? This 0 nga yun, magkadikit, walang angle. So therefore, walang distance yung dalawa na yun. Pero if this is 1, this is 1 as well. So kaya pag nag-tangent 90 degrees tayo, so which is opposite over adjacent side, opposite. So, ito yung 90 degrees, opposite is 1, adjacent is 0. So 1 over 0 is undefined. Okay, so anything divided by 0, that is undefined. So tangent 90 degrees is undefined. That is true. So if you want, you may use your calculator. So sa calculator, tangent 90 degrees ang lalabas, math error. So ang math error, ang ibig sabihin nun, undefined. So undefined siya. So next, the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 77. And the opposite is 22. So find the length of the adjacent side. So meron tayong triangle. So hypotenuse is already given. So which is 77. So the opposite, so it's up to you. Anong reference mo, no? So kung ang reference ko, this is the angle theta. So the opposite would be this 22. So find the length of the adjacent side. So let's say adjacent side is x. So how do we get that one? So we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. So Pythagorean theorem is the two sides, diba? So 22 square plus x square equals the hypotenuse, 77 square. So that is so x squared is equals to 77 square minus 22 square. So 77 square, so you can use the calculator, minus 22 square is 5445. So take the square root on both sides. So square root of the answer, that is 33 square root of 5. Or pwede rin 73.79. So the hypotenuse of a right triangle is 21 and the smaller angle is 30 degrees. So find the length of the opposite side. So again, so we have the hypotenuse, which is 21, and the smaller angle is 30 degrees. So let's say this is the smaller angle. Find the length of the opposite side. So this is the angle, the opposite side is this. So which is y. So to find the length of the opposite side, so we need to determine, so what will be the relation, trigo relation. So this one is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse. So opposite over hypotenuse, that is equivalent to sine, di ba? So in short, so sine 30 degrees is equals to opposite, which is y, hypotenuse is 21. So 21 sine 30 degrees is equals to y. So therefore, y is 21 sine 30 degrees, that is 10.5. So 10.5, so for this one. Next. So given a right triangle with angle A, so what's the value of sine A? If secant A is 13 square root of 17 all over 51. So when we are solving this one, basta meron kang isang given, you need to use a triangle. Okay, so let's say meron kang triangle. So sabi niya secant, di ba? So ang secant A, okay, so let's say this is angle A. Secant is the opposite of cosine. Tama ba? So it's the opposite of cosine. So cosine is, so this is hypotenuse over adjacent side. So secant is hypotenuse over adjacent side. So ang ibig sabihin nito, ang hypotenuse natin is 13 square root of 17, ang adjacent is 51. So ito yung 13 square root of 17, ang adjacent natin, katabi ng A, so which is 51. So what ang hindi natin alam is this y. So paano natin kukunin yun? So Pythagorean theorem ulit. So y squared, so plus 51 squared is equals to 13 square root of 17 square. So y square would be, so yung 13 square root of 17. Square natin yon, that is 2873. Minus 51 square, that is 2601. So y square is 272. So y then, so take the square root of both sides. So it's 4, the square root of 17. So yun yung y natin, no? So tinatanong, what is sine? So ang sine A is equals to opposite over hypotenuse. So ang opposite natin is y. So y, so this is the opposite. So it's 4 over square root of 17. Ang hypotenuse natin is 13 over square root of 17. So cancel yon, 4 over 13. So which is this. So 4 over 13. So that is how to get, no? So kapag ganito sila, you need to complete the right triangle first. And then afterwards, so using Pythagorean theorem, you can get the unknown sides. And then kuhanin mo yung trigo relation nila. Okay. So next would be for oblique triangle. So given ka ng A, which is 3.5, and angle A is 25 degrees, and B is 35 degrees. So what's the value of C? So again, so meron kang side A, so which is 3.5, then angle A, so which is 25 degrees. So B, so kahit saan pa yung B, so let's say ito yung B, so which is 35 degrees. So what is side C? So para makuha natin si side C, so kuhanin muna natin si angle C. Kasi kompleto na siya nun, di ba? So remember, A plus B plus C is equals to 180. So kukuhanin ko sa angle C, so 180 minus A minus B. 180 minus 25 minus 35 degrees, 50, 60, 120, no? So C is 120 degrees. So kaya lang, ang pinapahanap is what is the value of side C. So yung C dito, yung maliit, ang kukuhanin natin. So para makuha yon, since meron na tayong pair, di ba? So sabi ko nga, basta merong pair na given, so you can already use law of sines. So since ang hinahanap natin is side C, so mauna na si C, no? So C all over sine C is equals to side A over sine A. So C then would be equivalent to A all over, or A sine C all over sine A. So C then would be equivalent to, ang A natin is 3.5, ang C natin is nakuha natin, which is 120 all over A, so sine 25. So calculator, so 3.5, so times sine 120, and then divide it with sine 25. So the answer is 7.17. So which is this one. Okay, so about this one. So solve for the angle C. So given ka ng, okay, a pair is given. Kaya lang pinapahanap niya is angle C. So pwede naman, di ba? Basta meron kang pair, so I can now find what is, kasi meron ka side A. So kung gagamitin ko yung law of sines, so I can get what is angle A. So kukuha ko ng angle A, so meron ka naman angle B, so I can get angle C. Okay, so to do that, so mauna tayo sa kuhanin natin yung angle A. So since angle A ang kukuhanin natin, so siya yung nasa taas. So ibig sabihin nun, so sine A all over side A is equals to sine B over side B. So sine A nun is equals to A sine B all over B. So ang A nun is inverse sine of A sine B all over B. So sa calculator, that is inverse sine of, ang A natin is 8, ang B natin is 33.5 sine B, and then ang side B is 5. So diretso lang sa calculator, pwede naman. So mauna yung shift sign, tapos lagay mo yung yung fraction. So type 8 sine 33.5, and don't forget the close parentheses. Tapos we have 5, and then another close parenthesis. So that will give us 62.02, no? Kaya lang hindi yan yung sagot, diba? Kasi remember, ang C is 180 degrees minus A minus B. So 180 minus 62.02 minus 33.5. Plus 33.5, 180 minus 1 is 84. C is 84.48 degrees. So which is this one. So that is using law of sines. So basta merong given na dalawang pair or the opposite, so we can use the law of sines. Tapos, the next one. So the given sides of a triangle are 12 and 15. Included angle is 40 degrees. So find the smaller angle. So find the smaller angle. In this case, dalawang side, included angle. So walang pair. Okay, so walang pair na given. So therefore we cannot use the law of sines. Okay? But ang pinapahanap, so find the smaller angle daw. So dalawa to. So angle A at angle B, let's say. So ano yung smaller? So ang smaller, tignan mo yung opposite. So this is 12, this is 15. So kung mas maliit yung side niya, definitely it follows na mas maliit yung angle niya as compared dun sa mas mahabang angle ay mas mahabang side. So ang hinahanap dito would be angle B. But can we get the angle B so right away? So pwede natin right away, I can get let's say this is side C. So I can get the side C, and then afterwards, kung nakuha ko na yung side C, I can use the law of sines. Right? So para makuha ko yung angle B. So to do that, so kuhanin muna natin si angle C. So si angle C, formula natin, or side C, so C square is equals to A squared plus B squared minus 2AB cosine C. So C is equals to, so diretso ko na, no? Square root of, so it's either whichever, A or B. It's either 12, 15. Okay, so 15 square plus 12 square minus 2 times 15 times 12. Then cosine C, which is 40 degrees. So C then would be square root of, so 15 square plus 12 square minus 2 times 15 times 12 times cosine 40. Lang natin. One, two, three. Kulang ako ng. Ayan. So the answer for angle C is 4.93. Or side C, it's 4.93. Yan lang, we need to find what is angle B, no? So, sine B nun, all over B. So, by the way, B is 12, and then A is 15. Then, sine C, so C is 40. And then we have, nahanap natin is B. So, B would be equal to, so B sine C all over C, tapos inverse sine. So B then would be equivalent to inverse sine of B, which is 12. Tapos sine C, sine 40, divided with 4.93. So, which is inverse sine of 12 sine 40. So, divide it with 4.93. Tama ba? Sine C is 40. So, C is 4.93. So, sine B. So, B is 12. 12 sine 40. There's something wrong. So, 15 square plus 12 square minus 2 times 15 times 12 times cosine 40. Mali ito. It's not 4.93, it's 9.66. So, kaya 12 sine 40 over 9.66. Then shift sign of answer. And 53.02. And this is 53.02. Okay, so that is 4 oblique triangles. No? So next, so find the solutions of 2 sine squared x plus cosine x minus 2 is equals to 0. And that is from 0 to 2 pi. No? So let's try to solve this one. So again, so when solving trigo equations, the first thing that we need to do is transform this one into a single function. So ito kasi dalawang trigo function tayo, di ba? One is sine, the other is cosine. So kailangan it's either gawin mo lahat na sine yan or gawin mo lahat na cosine. In this case, wala tayong identity ng cosine na magiging sine siya right after, no? Pero ang sine squared, so meron tayong identity so na pwede nating gamitin. So remember, the Pythagorean identity, sine squared x plus cosine squared x is equals to 1. So therefore, sine squared x is equals to 1 minus cosine squared x. So pwede natin palitan yung sine squared natin, no? So yung 2. So 2, tapos ang sine squared natin, it's 1 minus cosine squared x. Then plus cosine x minus 2 is equals to 0. So distribute natin. So 2 minus 2 cosine squared x. Then plus cosine x minus 2 is equals to 0. Kaya lang, 2 minus 2 is 0. So matira will be this one. Pero I can factor out cosine x, no? So cosine x, factor out natin siya. So matira would be negative 2 cosine x plus 1 is equals to 0. So cosine x, so negative 2 cosine squared x, tapos cosine times 1 is cosine x. So ngayon, meron tayong dalawa. So the first one is cosine x equals to 0. The other one is negative 2 cosine x plus 1 is equals to 0. So we can use sa calculator naman, di ba? So inverse cosine of 0. That is 90 degrees. So ang x natin isa would be inverse cosine of 0, which is 90 degrees. And times mo ng pi over 180. So that makes it pi all over 2. So, yun yung una. Kaya remember, so kung meron tayong Cartesian plane, so this is 0, this is 90. Meron tayong tawag dito 270, meron din tayong 180, no? So pag sinabi nating 90 degrees, cosine 0, 90 degrees, so eto yun. Pero meron din siyang other pair. Itong nasa kabila. Okay? Kasi 0 din yan. Diba? Pag tinrayan mo yung cosine 270 sa calculator, that is 0 as well. Kaya aside from 90, so we have another one, which is the 270. So times mo ng pi over 180. So sa calculator, pwede mong ilagay yan. No? So para alam mo kung ano yung lowest term niya. Lagay mo lang 270 over 180. Lalabas sa calculator, 3 over 2. So that is over 3 over 2 pi. So yun yung pangalawa. Okay? So ganyan niya. Hindi kasi natin maklasify kasi pi all over 2 is neither quadrant 1 nor quadrant 2. Okay? Kasi eksaktong nasa gitna siya. Kaya lagi magka-pair yon. So, kapag 90, ka-pair niya is 270. Kapag 0, ang ka-pair niya is yung 180. So, how about the next one? So, meron tayong negative 2 cosine x. So, transpose ko yon negative 1. So, divide ko yan both by negative 2. So, cosine x would be positive 1/2. So, remember, ang cosine, saan siya? All cosine. Ano yung sine dito? Ang sine dito is positive 1/2. Okay, so ibig sabihin nun, ang quadrant na makukuha natin, one is on the first quadrant, the other is on the fourth quadrant. So first quadrant and fourth quadrant siya. Okay, so doon natin makukuha yung positive ng cosine. So ayan gagawin natin yan. So x would be inverse cosine of 1/2. So, ano ang unang makukuha natin? Shift cosine of 1/2. That is 60 degrees. So, ang 60 degrees, ito yung nasa first quadrant. So, which is equivalent to, so, multiply natin siya ng pi over 180. So, ang labas niyan would be 60 over 180 is pi all over 3. Kaya lang sabi natin, meron siya sa fourth quadrant din, di ba? So, for fourth quadrant, for quadrant 4, so, ang formula natin sa x natin yan, so, would be 360 minus theta. So, 360 minus 60 is 300. So, times pi all over 180. So, 300 over 180. That is 5 pi all over 3. So, 5 pi all over 3. So, calculator nyo na lang kapag fraction siya, no? Para ma-lowest term siya. So, ang mga sagot dito niyan would be pi all over 2. This one, 3 pi all over 2. Ito yung pangalawa, pi over 3. Ito yung pangatlo, 5 pi all over 3. 5 pi, ayun. So, we have 4 solutions, no? Okay, so how about this one? So, what is the solution set of the given equation? So, the solution set of the given equation, dali naman nito, no? So, 2 sin x plus 1 equals to 0. So, since isang function na lang siya, so right away, I can find it, no? So, 2 sin x equals to negative 1. Cosine, divide mo both sides by 2. So, cancel yon. So, sin x is equals to negative 1/2. So, ulit tayo dito sa Cartesian plane natin, di ba? So, So, all ito, then dito yung sine. Kaya lang, this time around, it's negative. So, saan siya negative? So, negative ang sign dito sa, kasi ito positive yan eh. So, all tapos sine. So, kung positive siya dyan, dito siya sa negative. Sa third quadrant at saka sa fourth quadrant. So, siya sa negative. So, makukuha mong theta, nasa third at saka nasa fourth. So, pag nag-inverse sine tayo of negative 1/2, so, makukuha mo dyan is yung nasa fourth quadrant. Shift sign of negative 1/2. So, ang sagot is negative 30 degrees. Kaya lang, yung negative 30 degrees na yan, so, galing siya dito actually. Yeah. So, negative 30 degrees. Yan. Diba? Kaya sa fourth quadrant, ang theta mo niyan, tanggalin mo lang yung negative. So, ang theta mo dyan is 30 degrees. So, sabi ko nga, dalawa yung makukuha mo dyan. One is for the third quadrant, quadrant 3. Yung isa is for quadrant 4. So, ano bang formula natin? So, sa quadrant 3, that is 180 degrees plus theta. So, ang theta natin, ayun, tanggalin mo lang yung negative. So, plus 30, that is 210. So, times 1 ng pi over 180. So, 210, diba? So, 210 over 180. Sagot is 7 over 6 pi. Isa naman, x is, sa fourth quadrant is 360 minus theta. So, remember this, diba? So, pag quadrant 1, that is just the theta. Laging positive ang theta. So, theta is always positive. So, kung may negative siya, tanggalin mo lang yung negative. Sa quadrant 2, it's always 180 degrees minus theta. Sa quadrant 3, it's always 180 degrees plus theta. Sa quadrant 4, 360 degrees minus theta. So, that is our formula. So, in getting the angle. Okay? So, pag nakakuha ka ng theta, ang theta mo, it's always, ang theta kasi it's always an acute angle. Eh? So, whether that is positive or negative, you only get the absolute value. So, it's always theta. So, kung 360 yan, so 360 minus 30 degrees is equals to 330 degrees. So, times pi all over 180. So, sa calcu, 330 over 180. So, 11 over 6 pi. So, ito yan. So, 7 over 6, 11 over 6. 7 over 6, 11 over 6. So, ito siya. So, 7 over 6 pi to 11 over 6 pi. And that is trigo. Okay, so I hope to try other examples on your own. So, based on our lecture. So, basta ito lang, tandaan nyo lang. Yung mga formula natin, so you'll be able to answer this one.